finish. He finished 5th at Atlanta.
And the one significant thing to this run here, I don't think Juan Pablo has ever driven a race car with this little aerodynamic downforce. The car tomorrow totally unlike the cars he's been driving here or anywhere else.
And the brakes on a Formula One car are amazing. I mean, they guys talk more about the braking power of a Formula One than they do the acceleration of a Formula One car. And if you're anticipating that to be the case, because these things don't blow up that great.
Jeff Gordon in the DuPont Chevy. He has 3 third-place finishes here and 2 poles. And we all know this is one of the 3 tracks where he has not won.
Did win a Busch race here, but has not won a Cup race. And right now, his first lap, 27.55. This group, they've just been on their mark so well this year on qualifying. They have the 2 Bud poles, but they also have 5 top 5 starts this year in 2007. And he's looking like he's working on number 6 here on lap 2.
I think he'll do it. I'm telling you, he's fast here, man.
But I got their 3 and 4. I don't know how good I got their 1 2 though.
Well, it was good enough.
Baby, 27.04 pole. Yeah, you guys are awesome.
I'd go along with that.
Beats Jamie McMurray by a full 1/10 of a second.
Now, in contrast to Jimmy Johnson's car, Jeff's car had a lot of travel in the left front. The car really dropped going in the corner, and he started to hike that skirt up in the front just a little bit on exit.
Yeah, Jimmy's car looked perfect. I like the way it looked, scraping the ground with that left front.
I was okay at 1 2, but it was all 3 and 4.
Sorry, I should have said hike the splitter coming up off turn 4.
It's not unusual to see that 24 car with the nose up just a teeny bit more than a 48. They seem to run it. It's just a difference in their shock package, I would say. When you see the car kind of rock like that up in the front when it gets to the corner, falls over, it's just a little bit different shock combination.
But, you know, going back to Jeff Gordon, I had a conversation with Steve Letarte, his crew chief, and actually had a conversation with Chad Knaus, Jimmy Johnson's crew chief. And one of the things they're fighting with this car tomorrow is too much of a push, the car not turning. And like Chad and Steve both told me, said Jeff likes a much tighter race car than Jimmy Johnson likes. Jimmy does not like a car that will not turn, which no driver does, but Jeff just likes a little more tug on that steering wheel.
Carl Edwards 20th fastest right now as Jeff Gordon debriefs. Jeremy Mayfield, David Ruderman next.
We heard one awesome over the radio. He got out of the car and said awesome again. So how awesome is the race car, Jeff Gordon?
Well, obviously, you pick up that much from practice. We made a lot of adjustments there at the end of practice. You know, guys are picking up. We just weren't picking up. We drew a great number today, and all I was worried about was the sun. But I had no idea we were going to run that kind of lap. So proud of Steve Letarte, all the guys at this DuPont Chevrolet. You know, I drove down into 1 on the second lap. I gave up the first lap, and the second lap I drove down in there, and it got tight, and I wasn't sure if it was going to turn, and it did. But I made up all my time in 3 and 4. The car just flew through 3 and 4. Like I've never been around this place. So we had the right setup in it for qualifying.
In other words, it was awesome.
It was awesome.
All right, let's go to Matt.
Steve, one gives.
Well, Jeff Gordon has won his 3rd Bud Pole of 2007. He is now tied for 4th on the all-time pole list with VW.
Yeah, that's right. I just realized that.
Matt?
And Jeff Gordon will start from the pole on Saturday night. How big was that run for you and this team?
Well, it's just a huge pickup. You know, coming into this race, I mean, we've been on the pole the last, I think, couple of times or 2 of the last 3 or 4, and you know, qualifying's been going well for us. But the way practice went, I never dreamed we'd be on the pole today. So that's a huge accomplishment for this race team. You know, it just shows what kind of team we have right now to be able to fall behind a bit and be able to claw our way back. And that's what we've been doing all year long. And you know, we're having a lot of fun with this car right now. I know I've criticized it a lot, but we certainly got a good one out there, and really proud of all the guys in the DuPont Chevrolet. It's a great pole for us.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
That is Jeff Gordon's 59th career pole. Welcome back to Phoenix, where Jeff Gordon has won his 59th career pole and his 3rd Bud Pole of 2007. He and Jamie McMurray on the front row for Saturday night on Fox. John Andretti, Brian Vickers, and his teammate A.J. Allmendinger, Mike Bliss, and Brandon Ash.
You know, Jeff Gordon, he has led a lap this year in 6 of the 7 races. So where he's starting here, he'll be working on leading the lap in that 7th race.
Big Daddy.
Back in town.
Wins the pole.
But I think with the way this bonus system is structured, Jeff Gordon's ready to get that 24 car to victory lane.
I'm not trying to start anything here, guys, but that right rear tire on that 24 car looks soft. I guess it isn't. But I know one thing, Stewart is closing in a hurry.
He's got a half a lap to go, Mike.
I guess Jeff is just being that cautious, but I thought I saw that right rear tire looked like it was a little soft.
Jeff Gordon rounds turn 4. Become the first driver in the history of Phoenix International Raceway to win a cup race from the pole. Jeff Gordon finally gets his first Phoenix win and ties Dale Earnhardt.
Jeff Gordon, I got a special flag for you at the start-finish line if you want it, bud. Come and get it. Special flag.
Look at the hats if you want an indication of what that flag says.
Got a pretty good idea what it'll say.
Guys are awesome in there. Way to go.
Chevy congratulates Jeff Gordon, winner of the Subway Fresh Fit 500. Chevy, an American Revolution. As Jeff Gordon salutes the Richard Childress owned number 3 as it was driven by Dale Earnhardt to 6 of his 7 Nextel Cup championships tonight. Gordon ties Earnhardt for career wins in Nextel Cup racing.
And I don't think there's any question. We've known for years that Jeff Gordon's going to rewrite the record book. I mean, he's a young man. He's still got a lot of racing ahead of him, a lot of wins, championships. We always knew he would rewrite the record books.
Since last July, he's been chasing that 76th victory. Tonight is special. His first one here at Phoenix in a Cup car. You've already talked to the boss. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came by to congratulate you. What does number 76 mean to you?
Yeah, it means the world. You know, just to get a win at a track we never won at before. I drove my guts out. I never had to drive so hard for a win, and I love racing Tony Stewart and Jimmy and all those guys who are racing there. And you know, that holding that 3 flag. You know, it's certainly by no means say I'm as good or we're as good or even close, but tell you what, to honor him in that way, it really means a lot to me. I learned so much from him, and to even come close to anything he had ever done in this sport is amazing to me. So we want to honor him. We've been holding on that flag for a long time, but to get 76 is incredible.
The pole sitter Jeff Gordon led the first 28 laps. He had some communication problems early. Battles with Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon, and then Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson.
We said this was a little big short track, and you see these guys are here racing door handle to door handle. This is one of the best things about this racetrack.
It was too close to call. That's why we have, and NASCAR has a super slow-mo camera right there. It was that close. So close that Steve Letarte, the crew chief on Jeff Gordon's car, closest to the camera, went to the NASCAR officials to plead his case. He should be leading the race on the restart. NASCAR has it scored that Tony Stewart was the first car to the line at pit exit.
He's turning into Pop-Tart tonight because every time we see him, he's popping up off that seat. And before it was with Harvick and his crew chief. Now he's over there with the NASCAR people.
There's the camera NASCAR uses at that line, and certainly while Steve Letarte is pleading his case, he'd much rather be out front here because you know what? This race is winding down. We only have 96 laps to go.
Our final singular virtual crew chief question for the night. Will Jeff Gordon finally win at Phoenix? He's been trying since 1992. Yes or no, text the word crew to 191 on your singular AT&T wireless phone, or you can go to foxsports.com to cast your vote.
Well, he would accomplish 2 things. If he did, he would win a race here, and he would have won it from the pole, which no one's ever done.
And he would break a tie with Dale Earnhardt on the all-time win list.
And he would get 10 bonus points to add to his points total when they reset the top 12 drivers headed into those final 10 chase races. 10 bonus points for each win.
Gordon stalking, hoping for his first ever win here in Phoenix and hoping for his 76th career win, which would tie him 6th all time with Dale Earnhardt. He started the race, Gordon, as the pole sitter, but communication problems with his helmet. He ironed that out, led the first 28 laps. Later, battling for the 4th spot with Kevin Harvick, 3rd and 4th. close say yes. His 17th Phoenix Nextel Cup race, best finish third 3 times for Jeff Gordon. But Jeff Hammond with just under 60 laps to go. Pit stops, how soon will they come, and what kind of advantage will they play for Jeff Gordon?
Well, right now you can see pretty easily that our public right now is kind of torn whether Jeff's going to be able to pull this thing off or not. But about lap 285, 290, we can expect these teams start making green flag stops. And I really believe that's what's going to make the difference. We've seen early on the night, Denny Hamlin got in trouble speeding.
And burnt by a caution flag.
I tell you who this race is really backing right up into his hands, I believe, is the 17 car. He's going to have a blazing fast pit stop, and he's right there behind these guys. Watch the 17 car.
Matt Kenseth.
Right now, the fastest car.
Here's a 24 on pit road.
The pole sitter, Jeff Gordon, will surrender second place to come to pit road.
Now, this is where Tony Stewart, he's going to have to come pretty quick. We're seeing Ryan Newman, the 12, Kevin Harvick, the 29.
Trouble.
Got a car around, big crash.
Blaney, Yaley, and the number 1 of Martin Truex. And this caution will burn several teams and pin them a lap down because they pitted under green.
See Jeff Gordon, they're going to go ahead and complete their stop.
The 12 car down here, they had a miscommunication, and they were trying to decide whether they're going to go and change all 4 tires or not, and he drove off with the wheel loose.
And now they have a... Jeff Gordon had come to pit road. His crew chief, Steve Letarte, looking things over. His reaction. Up there on the box with Ken Howes. So who gets caught a lap down? We'll wait for the leaders to come around behind the caution car and the scoring to cycle. But Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman.
But it appears that the 24 car, because of where he was running on the racetrack and where the caution came out, that they got their 4 tires changed and he stayed on the lead lap. Now remember, Tony Stewart, Kenseth, all those other cars, Matt, they have to make a pit stop, so it's going to be interesting on this 24 car.
Jeff Gordon just said, Larry Matthews, I kind of questioned us stopping for the 4 tires. And he says when it all cycles out, though, Steve Letarte told him we should be the leader. He goes, yep, that was a great call by you and our guys.
Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, and Martin Truex Jr. were lead lap cars when they pitted under green, and they are now a lap down.
Let me show you what helped the 24 car there. His pit box right there was that very first pit box. Well, 2 things helped him. Running near the leader and having that very end pit box, so he had to only move a few feet to stay on the lead lap. That's what qualified on the pole. There's his pit box right there. He only had to move to right there, and the field's frozen right there. So that's great call on that team.
And how did he get to use that pit box? He won the pole, so his team had the first pick of pit position. Joe Nemechek. 22 laps to go. Here is the crash at turn 4. Synced up time code, real time, both views. Since Jeff Gordon's already on pit road when the caution comes out, pit road closes. But since he's already on pit road, he can make his stop if he chooses, or he can just drive on through.
But remember, everybody else out on the racetrack, they've started to slow down right there to get down to caution lap speed.
Our Nextel call of the race. There's the chirp as Nextel helps NASCAR and NASCAR fans get things done. Who's made the call of the race?
Well, 2 things. The 24 to me, I mean, Steve Letarte did a great job of going ahead and making his pit stop. Jeff Gordon did a great job of not panicking and driving on through the pit and being at the back.
No question. I'm going to go with a car that hadn't had a top 10 since Martinsville last October.
Road when the caution came out, you saw him complete his stop, get back on track ahead of the pace car, so he's the last car on the lead lap. The next time around, while we're in commercial, all of the lead lap cars pit, leaving Gordon to come up behind the pace car as the race leader. His rabbit's foot is hopping along. You could not have called it any better to have him pit stop when the flag waves for caution and emerge as the leader, but he did.
It's the perfect storm. I mean, you could not have nailed it any better.
But now he has a little problem between him and that pace car. Kurt Busch in the 2, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8, Martin Truex Jr. in the 1. Remember, those were all cars that made green flag stops. So when this caution came out and everyone pitted, they stayed out. So they're at the tail end of the lead lap right now. Jeff Gordon, the 4th car in line, the leader.
Here's a look at your Napa race summary with 20 laps to go.
I actually don't think those cars are a problem other than if they hold him up, and they're not. They're good race cars. They won't. But them being in front of him could give Tony Stewart and Matt Kenseth a real shot at getting around him. Pick the wrong line, go high, everybody goes low. You go low, everybody goes high. You could be in big trouble.
There is Jeff Gordon, not directly behind the pace car because those cars on the outside lane, they were a lap down when the caution came out, but because all the lead lap cars pitted, they are now on the tail end of the lead lap. Kurt Busch, Dale Jr. and Martin Truex. We're coming to green with 19 to go from our DLP Ultimate Picture Cam.
And as you can see, nobody's going to cut him any slack. Jeff Gordon, Martin Truex going to race him hard, trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap.
And so will Tony Stewart, right on Gordon's bumper. Saturday night shootout, 18 to go.
Yeah, you better believe those 3 cars trying to race to stay on the lead lap, Truex, Earnhardt, and Busch, they need a caution. And Earnhardt Jr.
The Roush Fenway Ford of Kenseth in 3rd.
Jeff Gordon has put a little bit of space between he and Tony Stewart, but he has his hands full right now with that 1 car, Truex Jr.
Yeah, nobody's going to, you got to try to, Truex, you got to try to stay on the lead lap if he can, and so far he can. Tony's loving this.
But Jeff Gordon's...
He's not going to be still driving forward.
Jeff Gordon's not a happy man.
Oh, no.
And he's got to go, or Tony Stewart will.
Here comes that 11 car there on the right side of your screen. Denny Hamlin going after Matt Kenseth in that 17 for the 3rd spot.
I believe he got him going down into 1. He got position on him.
Whoa, Tony, 3 wide. No.
Somebody's going to have to give, boys, before you get to turn 3. Stewart's going to try to stay in it on the high side.
Did it, man. Truex had to lift out a little bit, open the door.
Wow, what a move.
And he took the lead.
You can do that off of that corner over there if you're brave.
That was unbelievable.
I don't think that the 24 is real happy with anybody right now.
13 to go.
Jeff Gordon says, you can't do that to me.
Look how loose Stewart is off the corner. Gordon's coming right back at him on the inside.
Oh, yeah, but they got trouble with that. Well, that's Truex right there. The 11 is back there a little further.
Gordon goes to the inside.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, boy.
But, boy, he got a good bite off turn 4. He's going to take the lead back. 12 to go.
This is great, isn't it?
And Kenseth now is right with the 2 leaders. Look at that yellow 17. There's your front 3.
I don't think Smoke is through with the back bumper of that 24 car just yet.
And here comes that 17 car, Matt Kenseth. He says, you guys keep going at it. I won't up there.
Stewart had a bite of the lead and a taste of it. Now he wants that whole steak.
Boy, I tell you, I am impressed with Jeff Gordon. No quit in him tonight. He wants to win the race not only from the pole, but for the first time, and he has got a car that can do it.
He's tired of running second with the car tomorrow.
And they are starting to put some distance on Denny Hamlin in 4th place.
He's got a little bit of room in front of him now. It's quite a ways up there to those other cars. 11 to go, 10 to go this time.
Well, Jeff Gordon has just run a 28.45. That's 6/10 quicker than he ran any time tonight. He is the money man.
Those 2 passes were just incredible. First, Stewart, right up the middle. I didn't think those 3 cars would fit right there.
You got to give Truex a lot of credit, though. He squeezed up and made just enough room for the 2 leaders to get through.
He finally realized that was enough.
He fought as hard as he could, but when it was time to get out of the way, he did.
And all Stewart did was get Jeff Gordon right back up on the wheel.
Oh, yeah. Jeff didn't like that. I'm going to get that, boy.
Great racing.
Out here.
I don't believe they got anything for the 24, though. He's checking on out on these guys, and I think at this point, the two giants up front, Gordon and Stewart, I think they said, okay, I gave you my best shot. You got it.
Well, one thing we know about this car tomorrow, Darrell, the best drivers are still the best drivers, and the smartest teams are still the smartest teams. That's who's up front.
And the man up front right now, Jeff Gordon, the 24 car. Remember, he's our Nextel Cup points leader. It'll be 5 to go. You can see the distance he's now put on Tony Stewart in his 20.
And Mike, that's the same yesterday, today, and it will be the same tomorrow.
I know we're watching our top 5 right now, but we talked about Jeff Green in the 66 car. His teammate, Johnny Sauter, in the 70, up there in the top 10 in 9th. Great run for Haas Racing tonight.
I think Jeff Gordon right now, though, guys, think about it. Nobody's won this race from a pole. He's probably going to do it. Jeff Gordon's never won at Phoenix. He's probably going to do it. And guess what else he's going to do? Tie Dale Earnhardt for 6 wins. So tonight, in this weekend, he tied for the most poles in the modern era, and he's going to tie Dale Earnhardt for wins.
Funny that today, Dale Earnhardt was born in April 1951. They'll celebrate Dale Earnhardt Day at DEI. Jeff Gordon is 4 laps away. And there is the all-time win list headed by the king, Richard Petty. And those are the all-time greats of this sport right there. Passing David Stremmy's wounded car.
These cars up front right now are so equal. 87 on Gordon, 83 on Stewart. Hamlin's in 81, Jimmy Johnson's in 83. That's your lead car.
Everybody's in the 80s.
They're same speed.
2 laps to go this time.
I tell you, Smoke is going to give it one more shot, but I don't think he's got enough to get there.
And nobody can say this was a cakewalk for Jeff Gordon. He had to fight his way back.
A little bit more right here for you. White flag when you get down there.
I mean, just how solid this group has been all year long. If they can hang on in the top 5, this right here.
I'm not trying to start anything here, guys, but that right rear tire on that 24 car looks soft. I guess it didn't. But I know one thing, Stewart is closing in a hurry.
He's got a half a lap to go, Mike.
I guess Jeff is just being that cautious, but I thought I saw that right rear tire look like it was a little soft.
Jeff Gordon rounds turn 4. Become the first driver in the history of Phoenix International Raceway to win a Cup race from the pole. Jeff Gordon finally gets his first Phoenix win and ties Dale Earnhardt.
Jeff Gordon, I got a special flag for you at the start-finish line. If you want it, bud, come and get it. Special flag.
Look at the hats if you want an indication of what that flag says.
A pretty good idea of what it will say.
Guys are awesome in there. Way to go.
Chevy congratulates Jeff Gordon, winner of the Subway Fresh Fit 500. Chevy, an American Revolution. As Jeff Gordon salutes the Richard Childress owned number 3 as it was driven by Dale Earnhardt to 6 of his 7 Nextel Cup championships tonight. Gordon ties Earnhardt for career wins in Nextel Cup racing.
And I don't think there's any question. We've known for years that Jeff Gordon's going to rewrite the record book. I mean, he's a young man. He's still got a lot of racing ahead of him, a lot of wins, championships. We always knew he would rewrite the record books.
3 races for NASCAR's Car of Tomorrow. Jeff Gordon's finishes 3rd, 2nd, and tonight 1st. Not since Chicagoland last July had Jeff Gordon driven into victory lane, but he's there now after a fierce battle with Tony Stewart, and Matt Yoakum's with him.
Since last July, he's been chasing that 76 victory. Tonight is special. His first one here at Phoenix in a Cup car. You've already talked to the boss. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came by to congratulate you. What does number 76 mean to you?
Yeah, it means the world. You know, just to get a win at a track that we never won at before. I drove my guts out. I never had to drive so hard for a win, and I love racing Tony Stewart and Jimmy and all those guys who are racing there. And you know, holding that 3 flag. You know, it's certainly by no means say I'm as good or we're as good or even close, but tell you what, to honor him in that way, it really means a lot to me. I learned so much from him, and to even come close to anything he had ever done in this sport is amazing to me. So we want to honor him. We've been holding on that flag for a long time, but to get 76 is incredible. I got to thank everybody from DuPont and Pepsi and you know, GMAC. I'm so fired up here. Obviously, Pepsi, Nicorette.
I think everybody's fired up. I mean, starting from when this car fired up and you had radio problems to the great call by Steve Letarte when you were on pit road and the caution came out. It just seemed like everything was in the cards for you tonight. Yeah, it seemed like it. I mean, we didn't lead a ton, but we had a good car. And, you know, I would go for a long way and be one of the best cars, and then it'd fall off a little bit. And we kept adjusting. Great communication. Luckily, I had a radio. We switched that helmet out. It all did fall in our lap. You know, we got lucky getting on pit road when the caution came out, but I thought we needed to keep going through, and I almost drove through the pit. And Steve made the call, and I love him as a crew chief. He's an awesome guy, and he's sharp as can be. And he made that call. You know, he talked to the spotter and talked to me and the team, and you know, he's so cool under pressure. And man, it's just an awesome feeling. Great to get Chevy and Impala in here. You know, I don't know what to say. I'm overwhelmed right now. It's just an amazing victory for us, and I can't believe we finally won at Phoenix. And the first person he talked to in victory lane, a cell phone call from the boss, Rick Hendrick, back in Charlotte.
Thanks, Matt. Big Daddy made the big move with 13 laps to go to take the lead for the final time. But when Tony Stewart went to pass him 3 wide, did you think that was it?
No, I thought Tony, once he got in front, it'd be hard to get back around, but Jeff did not give up. And think about this, Larry. Mike, this kid started in 1992. 15 years ago, he has rewritten the record books all the way up to now.
And I couldn't help but think as I watched him carry that 3 flag around, when he won his first championship in 1995, Dale Earnhardt had been calling him the kid. So on stage, Jeff Gordon toasted Dale Earnhardt, not with a glass of champagne, but a glass of milk. And here he tied the man tonight with 76 wins.
What a race, what a finish. Wow, Jeff Gordon celebrates. We go to Steve Burns.
Mike with a...
Thanks, Krista. Matt Kenseth, the top Ford Chevy, getting 8 of the top 10 spots. You saw Denny Hamlin wearing the native of Virginia, the Virginia Tech cap. Again, honoring, remembering a number of drivers, decals on the car, other drivers going to Blacksburg. And Tony Stewart, we politely declined an interview post-comment, but let's talk about the moves made by Jeff Gordon, his crew, after 4 second-place finishes during this streak when he hadn't won a Cup race. He finally ties the late, great Dale Earnhardt.
Well, I know that's a huge accomplishment for Jeff Gordon. I mean, it seems like this year he's out to set records and to get a lot of things back on track. I mean, everything's just falling in place for him, from his marriage to his fatherhood. It's up and coming to the fact, you know, going 3-2-1 to be able to finally win a COT race. I mean, again, it shows how strong this team is, where they've been. Again, I think he is so excited about being able to make that accomplishment and be able to tie Dale Earnhardt Jr. But this team has really impressed me, and it started right on the get-go how they responded to this problem, Chris. I mean, mean, they had communication problems. They knew they had an issue here. They responded to that. They were able to get back on track, and right there at the end, they caught the break of the night. Steve Letarte had made a call to come down pit road a little bit early. Caution came out, but they completed the deal, and even after Tony Stewart went blasting by him 3 wide, hey, he drove right back by him.
Fighting off Tony Stewart on a couple of different occasions over the final few laps, and at age 35, Gordon, a 4-time Cup champion. As he has said, he's never gotten the Nextel Cup, so hoping for a 5th. And the unofficial results, we know that Jeff Gordon is the winner. Tony's in July. The 35-year-old Jeff Gordon will become a father. Maybe thinking about that.
Yeah, he's probably telling, hey, how do you like me now? Daddy's a winner.
Who's your daddy? Jeff Gordon. For Jeff Hammond, I'm Chris Myers, our entire crew. Thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox. We'll see you next Sunday in Talladega.